I've recently come to a very stupid conclusion that I should have come to a long, long time ago, and that is the simple fact that my life is not about me. My life is not about me, your life is not about you. That person's life over there, him, yeah, his life is not about him. My life is about you. Your life is about him. His life is about me, and my life is about him. And that's the only way that society can function. Because what we see now is an entire country full of people who are obsessed with themselves, and they think of themselves above all else. They don't even consider that other people have needs. They are literal children, myself included, as of, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Society cannot function if all we're thinking about is ourselves. Because as soon as you only think about yourself, you're not providing valuable services to somebody else who cannot provide those things for themselves, and then they fail, and since they were providing something that you needed, well, now you're failing, and everybody fails because everybody's only thinking of themselves. The month of June is especially appropriate for the discussion of this topic because pride is basically the love of self, and a lot of people seems to think that this is Pride Month. You know, this is the month to celebrate your iniquities, because for some reason we're just allowing that now. What did Jesus Christ say? He said, "Love one another as I have loved you." And how did Jesus love? Well, he was always serving. That was his entire ethos. He did good for others. He never did one thing for himself, except, you know, the basic needs of the human flesh that he had taken on himself. We should be doing the same. We should be taking care of ourselves only insofar as our physical demands are met, and every process that our brain is doing, everything that we think, should be about somebody else. As we turn our focus outward and we pay attention to what others are needing, and we focus less on ourselves, we become better disciples of Christ. And that's because, as we're taught in Mosiah, when you're in the service of your fellow beings, you are only in the service of your God. Jesus taught this principle more clearly than anybody else in the history of the world when he said, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it." As we lose ourselves in the service of others, we will find our purpose, and we will feel the joy that comes from serving God. But if we turn and serve only our own interests and our own thoughts and desires, then we become corrupt, and Satan has great hold on our hearts, and it's terrible, and it's literally the worst thing plaguing our country today. Because if every person would just take half a second and look outside of themselves and do one semi-good thing for somebody else, I can tell you every problem, that's not even an exaggeration, every single problem that this country faces would be solved like that. But we have people in positions of power who think only of themselves, who think only of retaining power, who refuse to do anything to help anybody else because all they care about is themselves. That's wrong. We all know that's wrong. And yet how many of us think only of ourselves when we sit at our computer, we watch stupid YouTube videos for 7 hours, and then we feel awful about it afterwards, but we still do it every single day? What is wrong with us? I'll tell you what's wrong with us. We have lost God. We are a world without God, and this world is broken. It needs God. I used to be really libertarian and think, well, I mean, as long as somebody is doing something of their own free will and choice, well, I mean, that's their problem. I've got my own problems, and I don't want to deal with that, and the government shouldn't get involved in anything at all because the government exists to serve the interests of the people that it governs. It's government by the people, for the people. And so we as a people have a right to say what we want the government to do. And recently, the whole freedom thing, like, no, people gotta be free to do whatever they want. No, that's not what true freedom is. Christ said, "The truth shall make you free." Okay? If you follow after his words, you'll become his disciples, and then you'll be free. That freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, it comes from following Christ. And we've totally lost our way in this regard. We've allowed these terrible trends in society to take huge swaths of our brothers and sisters captive. It is the captivity of the devil. And Christ told us exactly what we should do with these doctrines, these false prophets, if you will. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. We haven't been casting anything into the fire. We say, whatever goes, man, it's fine, just leave me out of it. That is the crappiest way to govern a society ever. Okay? It is ripening for destruction right before our very eyes because we refuse to cut out the things that are cancerous and causing us to fail. Pride Month, specifically, is what I'm thinking about right now. But also, what about all these politicians who go to Washington and do nothing but take lobbying money so that they can advertise really well and stay in power? They are bringing forth evil fruit and we're allowing it. We need people in Congress, in the White House, who are willing to get rid of things that are hurting this country. Okay? This is an objective thing. This isn't, I almost said sui bien. That's like whatever in Chinese. We who are true followers of Christ need to act like it. We need to stop pretending that it's loving to let people do whatever they want. There's nothing loving about letting someone hurt themselves. These are our brothers and sisters. They deserve our respect, and there's nothing respectful about letting someone shoot themselves in their foot. What's respectful is teaching them the truth. And if that means we have to kick out all the gross politicians who are like, yeah, whatever goes, unless you're a straight white male, especially if you're Christian, that's not okay. I hate that. Just in the last 5 years, I've become the villain of every left-wing, liberal, crappy horror story. They hate me because of who I am. And yet I have to love them. They're my brothers and sisters. They don't believe that I'm their brother. They hate me. And they hate you. And they hate this video. And they would destroy me if they could. And sooner than later, they will if we don't do anything about it. So don't fall into the lie that someone else's problems are just their problems and it's not your problem. It is your problem. It is my problem. Because we are family. All of us, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of God. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let them continue to live in lies, or are you going to spread the truth? Spread the truth in every regard. Are you going to stand as a witness of Christ at all times and in all things and in all places that you may be in? Or are you going to let them continue to burn our country down and kill themselves while they're at it? Remember, the truth shall make you free, not liberalism. The truth.